Do you see end by end of this month? All I'm seeing right now, day to day, is huge arrests going everywhere, and it's only getting more intense. Lots of things that are going on are getting more intense. It's all positive, but it's just getting more intense. And this is just the surface. This is just what they want us to see. So 90% of the stuff that's going, behind the scene is being executed right now. So yes, we are in it, and we're going to win it. I mean, there is no more. We can sit here and talk about, all the reveals and the exposure of the shapeshifters that are out there and all this stuff going on there. And we can play into that negativity, and that's fine. And, if we're aware of what's going, of that and who they are, and if they have the reptilian and, DNA, we can play into that, and that's fine. But, I don't really want to play into it. I mean, I know that the seed is planted here, that we're not alone, but I know that there's a lot of good, benevolent, different species that are here on this planet. And I don't think any of the negatives that are here right now, I mean, they're being taken out right now. And I'm here to tell everybody to protect yourself till we get through all this. We should have been protecting ourselves a long time ago from not just what's on the street, but from the government and all the government, goons that they have hired to put us in the situation we are in now. And, we should, as a people, should never have to put up with this absolute bullshit. But like I said, a lot of people went along with it, and now they're paying for it. Should sell off old Canadian currency. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say about it. I would move that stuff like I would be moving property, because, we don't know how that's all going to play out. Canadian money doesn't really mean anything, really. I mean, unless it's a collector value, take it down to a collector and see what you can get for it. But, all this remaining, right? I mean, we're going to be in abundance of a lot of money very, very soon. So, you can make your own decisions on that. Yes, there's lots of things happening. Like, I've never been a coin collector or anything like that. What I have been knowing what the metals are going to do, because they're all going to be reevaluated. There's more and more talk of this. So I'm not even looking at like most of the stuff that's on even in the internet now is absolute bullshit. There's nothing out there that is can be vetted or taken to the point where it's serious. We have to stay. The intuitives have to stay together by getting the information together and using our own discernment, and understanding what's going on there to get through this, because nothing out there right now I'm believing into, right? I'm not buying into it. Like I says, no dates out there. I mean, we're talking about events that are happening right now, and there's lots going on. Twice now I've seen black military helicopters flying over my property here in Ontario. Yes, absolutely. And there's even military, Canadian military, so-called Canadian military, went across the border inside the United States. What does that tell me? It tells me that Canada is the States. It tells me that Canada is part of the United States. Because when have you ever seen Canadian military crossing the border into the United States? Now, we can think whatever we want to think, but these are the breaking news stories that we're getting from patriots, boots on the ground. You know, people aren't, we got no time for lies and bullshit, right? I'm glad I made it here. Okay, well, I'm glad you made it here too. Do you think will happen this year, our Christmas Trump talk about? Yes, I do. I think we got to start putting our faith into something. And I think when Trump is talking like that, and I'm hearing it from people, I know it's all hearsay and stuff like that there, but I know that this cannot continue. There's just too many arrests right now, and I think what's happening is that the patriots and the freedom fighters are trying to get as much cleaned up as possible, so it's not a danger when we go in for our NDAs and our wealth management. What about the dong? Okay, from Vietnam. If by those current, got to work on your spelling there. Is gonna. I'm not sure what that question's all about. Sorry about that. So I keep the dinar and wait. Yes. Keep the Colombian peso and the Brazilian real. Yes. Keep it all. Just hang on to it. Things are going to start moving on it. I mean, Brazil, you got the Brazilian real. That's really good, because Brazil is that's going to be gold back. They're going to want that money back. And of course, you're going to have the revaluation of the Brazilian real happening, and that's going to be replaced. So whatever they give you. But remember, everybody, you're going to have to, get into the redemption centers. Now, some of the banks might be, some of the banks might be changing over to a redemption center, and being controlled by the military. All the redemption centers are going to be controlled by the military. So if the bank says it's a redemption center, with wealth management, whatever they're doing, then they cannot lie to you, right? Are med beds going to be available? Yes, absolutely. They're all available everywhere in the world. Okay, they're being distributed and brought in crates, and distributed in thousands of different locations. Yeah. Well, like it says, it's going to be a wonderful place when we get through all this. Vietnam, or $1 Canadian dollar. How do we change and save that? We buy the dong. You're going out to buy the Vietnamese dong. I think it's still available at your bank. Okay, you can go in there and order it, and they'll. If you buy $100, that's like 1.5 million dong, okay, for $100. And then order it through your account, and then they'll give you a receipt for that. Tell them to put your email on it, and you're in Lake Flint. Once you receive that receipt from the bank with your name and email on it, that's how much you got. And then you'll have to wait a week or so for the physical money to come in. That's it. How you doing, Ontario? Nice to see you all. Okay, so just want to try to get into whatever questions. Yeah, well, there's a lot of people that are negatives. I mean, and that's fine. You want to follow them, that's okay too. But based on the information that I'm getting, gang, is It's all positive. I believe, with the, 20 years of me being in this and watching this all, it's morphed itself into this, where 10 years ago we never talked about anything like this. And I was only getting bits and pieces and I couldn't put the dots together, but I was just getting this bits and pieces. So there was nothing for me to say until I could connect a few dots. Now the dots are everywhere. Wherever you turn, there's a dot connecting now. So that is a transformation of what we only could think about before. Is it's a daily talking about now. So this is going to happen. I know it's going to happen because there's just the whole world at this point is talking about it. Everybody that's on these internets and these podcasts that are happening right now, you can go to anybody out there and following on Rumble. If you want the finance or if you want the military news, okay, or anything like that. But there is so much stuff that's being put on the ground that everybody said it was a Chinese, a psyop before. Don't believe anything you say, and that's fine. But people, when you look at enough video, you'll know if it's an AI or if it's, real film or real video. You'll know. You can see it. We can recognize the difference. I mean, I can now, and I'm sure you all can too, right? Yeah, well, like it says, as far as the notifications go, we're just going to have to wait and see. But I can guarantee you, nobody will be missed. With the White House, do you think that when the tunnels will be exposed? Well, they've actually already been exposed. They were being exposed when they had all the track hose and the equipment in there, digging out all the yard and everything else that was going. People have noticed that. People saw that. There's lots of things that's going on around in the White House right now, that they're seeing. They're recognizing. The problem is with people is they have a short memory span in most cases. Not their fault, because we've been so poisoned, throughout our whole lifetime, and we're trying to shake all that off. There's going to be wonderful things that are coming to get ourselves cleared up. I don't believe in Christmas anymore. It's a pagan festival. Yes, I agree with you on that one. And, people say, well, paganism and all this other stuff isn't ritual or sacrificial. I disagree, okay? And all you have to do is watch these, the 7 or the series of the Vikings and what they did in those days. Now, I love the movie. I love the series. It was a great, great movie. But it tells you and picks everything of what occurred in those times and how they did their, who the Christians were, who Jesus Christ was and who they worshipped, and then who the pagans and the rituals, all that was well explained. Yeah, Starmer was arrested, yeah. No, children will not get any money from haven't put any skin in the game yet, okay? And they all have to be tuned out, whatever they're tuned into now, and then get retuned for being the new workforce. I want to just say something. My father, okay, was 20 years old when he went into the war, World War II, okay? Now, he was one of the older ones in the Canadian regiments that went in and fought. He ended up in the Italy campaign. And he was a gunner, for the artillery, but then moved into more or less combat. Now, all the kids that were doing their duty, fearless, and brave, marching into the beaches of Normandy with open German gunfire. Most of them never even made it out of the watercrafts that were hitting the beaches, because they were just laying the lead right inside the watercrafts. Okay, so fearless, and those are the kids that basically won the war, right, and got it all straightened out. So what I'm saying now, the kids nowadays could not hold a candle to those brave men and women that did the work of preserving peace through war. They weren't any older than 18, 20. Some were 15 years old, they joined. 16 years old, they lied about their age. These are the ones now that are going to have to be retrained to do the work that they need to do, right? And of course, the 20-year-olds and the 21-year-olds will be, sergeants or lieutenants or captains of their particular jobs that they have to do. These are those are our babies that are going to have to run the planet, to fix everything. And this is why I say, to all the patriots out there, have lots of beautiful children, have lots of kids, right? Preserve our species. Get out there and have babies. I've had 6 children, right? Because I believed in this a long, long time ago. And all my, 6 children, other than one, have done very, very well. And I've even got a 7-year-old now. I'm 70, but I'm still got a 7-year-old now that I'm grooming to be an outstanding human being. So, I might have missed as I was younger because I did not have the time because I was working. But I do now, and I have a good woman to bring him up because, I've trained her to train him. This is what we need to have in our boys. So I believe that there is a purpose for these children not to have any money given to them until they put some skin in the game, right? Okay. So, we're getting up to there. I just want to get a couple more questions in. Do you know anything about Timothy on here? No. Like I says, everybody, whether they're negative or positive or whatever, like I says, don't throw a lot of energy into it. If you put it on the shelf, keep it on the shelf, and eventually your questions will be answered. Well, England, like I said, England is going to do fine. They're going to be part of the, European kingdom, which, is all part of the Russia and Eastern Bloc, all the way down, Spain and all that, the Greek islands and all that stuff. Anything that's not attached to Africa is going to be part of the European kingdom. And I don't know what the reason why Ireland and Scotland, and Wales is going to be part of the, a Western kingdom. I guess we're going to find out in time, but I guess there's a separation there or whatever. But, this is how this is all going to be put together. And that's fine. Europe's going to have their own BRICS money. It's not going to be the pound anymore. It's not going to be the euro. It's going to have its own gold-backed treasury note, whatever it's going to be. And England's just going to be just fine. All these placeholders and these corrupt politicians, Stalmer's being arrested, and Sheikh or whatever his name is, Sadiq Khan, he's gone. he's going to be gone pretty next. But he basically, they're placeholders right now, and all the immigrants that are in England, that is, turning the place upside down and shitting in the streets and throwing garbage everywhere and harassing people, they're all going to go back to their place of origin, because that's where the money is. The groups that are coming out here, the military is going to, with common sense, is going to stop their payments to them, and they're going to be on the street, and their only way out would be a one-way ticket back to where they come from. And there will be a check waiting for them if they've been a good citizen. And if they've been a bunch of little retards, then they're not going to get nothing. The EBS will not kill the power. No. Just the internet services, yes. Your TV has to be on. You need power for your TV. You need power for your radio. Okay? If you don't have a TV, like I'm not hooked up to cable. I cut cable 25 years ago because it's absolute indoctrination of the highest order. And I hardly barely listen to radio, except for whatever's on for music. But like I said, as soon as the news comes on, I turn it off. And that's just the way it is. But we need those two items right there. So when the EBS does come on, this full exposure will happen. And hopefully that's going to wake up a lot of people. EBS will be showing JAG Gitmo trials, yes, and executions 24/7. And that's going to go on for 8, 10, 12. I mean, who knows how many days, but they've got it all lined up, ready to go. And like I said, if you're not watching it on TV through your cable, you'll be able to listen to it on the radio. Do you believe in Yes, I do. I believe in Ashtar Command. Absolutely. There's a lot of stuff that is off planet right now. We have to be very, very closed-minded, very, very closed-minded people if we think that we are the only ones in this universe. Okay? Ashtar Command, I resonate with it. And there's a lot of stuff that, through my experiences and I'm not going to elaborate on it. I'm just going to say that it put me to a point where I believe in it. I do, based on my experiences, okay?